Well, now it's time for this week's American Top 40 Trivia Quiz, brought to you by Jersey's Activewear. You can count on Jersey's. Here's the question. Which rock band holds the record for the longest song to ever make the top 10 on the pop chart? A song that's nearly 9 minutes long. Is it the Rolling Stones, Bon Jovi, or Guns N' Roses? The answer after this.
American Top 40.
Shadoe Stevens on American Top 40. Now that story of the rocker who was arrested at his own concert. He's that lovable, huggable, easygoing guy, Axl Rose, the lead singer for that notoriously nasty metal outfit Guns N' Roses. A few weeks ago in Philadelphia, Guns N' Roses were opening up for a concert with Aerosmith. Backstage security was pretty tight, as it usually is. Now, to get backstage, you have to have a backstage pass, and the security guards at the backstage door won't let you in without one. Well, our man with an attitude, Axl, had a little thing about wearing his backstage pass. Maybe a plastic pin-on badge doesn't go with leather and tattoos, who knows. But for some reason, Axl won't wear his pass. So about half an hour before the gig, he walks to the backstage area. The security guard asks for his pass. Axl tells him he's the lead singer for Guns N' Roses and he doesn't need one. The security guard says, "Sure, buddy." I guess he wasn't too big a fan. Anyway, Axl tries to force his way through, but the security guard keeps him out. They start hassling each other. Well, there's always police at a concert, and they show up at the scene. They see what's going on, and they quickly slap on the cuffs. They start to take Axl away, screaming and squirming, but before they get him too far, some of the Guns N' Roses entourage see them and quickly come to the rescue. They vouch for the angry, ornery rocker. The cops uncuff him, and a few minutes later, Axl's out on stage wailing away. Axl Rose, the singer who almost wound up singing in Sing Sing. Now we're up to the rock and roll band whose singer got his start in church. I know there's nothing real unusual about that. We've heard of a lot of singers who started out that way, but this is Axl Rose, the lead singer of the rambunctious, rowdy, and reckless Guns N' Roses. It's hard to believe, but true. Axl told Spin magazine, "I sang in church from the age of 5 until 15. Axl says it was a Pentecostal holy roller church in Indiana, 8 miles out in the country. My brother and sister and I, sometimes just me, we get up and sing whatever the latest gospel hit was. Axl says that once he even went to a department store and made a record in one of those little do-it-yourself record booths just to see what it would sound like. He sang Amazing Grace. Axl says he also played piano in his church, and one year he even taught Bible school. You know, you can hear all those years of gospel buried deep down in his singing. Here's Axl with Guns N' Roses, debuting at number 33. Welcome to the jungle.
Count them down on CT40.
The smaller the numbers get, the bigger the hits become. Now on CT40, we're up to Guns N' Roses and our story of one of rock's most temperamental stars. Of course, a lot of rock stars have a reputation for being difficult. When things don't get done exactly the way they want them, they tend to throw temper tantrums and go into a sulk. But few seem to be quite as unpredictable as the lead singer of the band called Guns N' Roses, W. Axl Rose. The band's guitarist Slash recently told Rolling Stone magazine that, quote, "Axl's a real temperamental guy. He can be hard to get along with," unquote. Because of his mood swings, his habit of getting into fights, and the fact that he likes to stay up all night and sleep all day, the band finally decided that the best way to deal with Mr. Rose was to get him his own touring bus. So while the other 4 members share a bus, Axl gets to sulk in solitary splendor. And what does he think about all this? Axl says, "The thing about my mood swings is that I have a temper. With all the pressure, sometimes I can explode. I can be happier than anyone I know, but I can also get more upset. It's just the way I am." Well, the Guns N' Roses system of separate but equal must work, because the band is still together after a year of almost non-stop touring. A year during which Guns N' Roses have become one of the hottest rock acts in the world.
And now we're up to those rebellious rockers, Guns N' Roses. Their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, has sold 11 million copies worldwide. It's the biggest debut ever for a group. So they must be millionaires, right? Well, singer Axl Rose says no. He explained it to writer Del James, quote, "People outside the music industry think that if you go platinum, 1 million copies sold, you're already a millionaire. Well, it doesn't work like that. It costs $200,000 to make an adequate video. You've got the money it takes to promote your record in advertising. It's easy to work up a bill of like $1 million, especially if you have a record that sold 6 million copies. All the promotions and money to keep that going have to come from somewhere. And Axl says Guns N' Roses have other expenses too. Managers, lawyers, accountants, roadies. Axl explains that Guns N' Roses make around $1 a record, 20 cents to each band member for every copy sold. He says by the time you make $1 million, 5 million copies sold, you have to sell around 8 million copies because you'll be like 3 million in debt. And out of the buck we make, we're paying all our debts back. Everything we borrowed, used, broken, or had on loan comes out of this. That's Axl Rose with an economics lesson in rock and roll.
Shadow counts you down.
So are you ready for more of Billboard's biggest hits of the week? Hey, thought so? We count them down right here nonstop to number one. In this hour, we'll go on an AT40 flashback to the year we met Madonna. We'll find out about the group that breaks a record held for years by Michael Jackson, and a few more surprises, too. When Guns N' Roses first came out with this single, we said it was an Elton John kind of a thing. You know, Axl Rose is a big fan of Elton John's. And if you saw Axl sing it as the big finish of the MTV Music Awards, you know Elton sat in on piano playing right across from him. And they were backed by a full orchestra. That was a nice touch. And Axl looked like he was in heaven, quite honestly. And Elton seemed like he was having a pretty good time, too. The Gunners' ballad holds at number 19 this week.
Casey's biggest hits.
5 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was Patience by a hard rock superband who say that there were exactly two people at their very first show. And one of them fell asleep. It was back in 1985 that this Los Angeles band finally came together. The members had been playing in groups with names like Rose, Hollywood Rose, L.A. Guns, and Road Crew. They combined the best elements of all those bands to come up with a combination they thought was a winner. The problem was that when they made their debut at the Hollywood rock club Gazzarri's on Sunset Boulevard at about 1 in the morning, just 2 fans were left to see them. Only one of them was conscious, but he got a show that he'll never forget. He saw the debut of Guns N' Roses.
The hits from coast to coast.
Now, here's the answer to our trivia question. Which rock band holds the record for the longest song to ever make the top 10 on the pop chart? Is it the Rolling Stones, Bon Jovi, or Guns N' Roses? The answer? Guns N' Roses. In 1992, the full-length commercial single of November Rain clocked in at 8 minutes and 50 seconds. And that's this week's American Top 40 Trivia Quiz. And the countdown rolls on.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
As we head for the final hour of our show, here's Guns N' Roses, a band that consists of just one member these days. Axl Rose owns the rights to the name, and he's been working on an album called Chinese Democracy for more than 10 years now. From 1988, that's the original Guns N' Roses with Sweet Child O' Mine.